what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy this. So, Maason Smith, still not healthy, not great in run fits, or just not great. So I don't know what the grade is, Jake, but Maason Smith, he really struggled in this game. Everything's sticky. He's playing high. He lost the ball a lot on like zone reads and everything. And I want to be clear about this. In a weird way, I'm starting to not a weird way. I just am. I'm starting to empathize with Smith or maybe feel bad for him a bit, because we always say like, oh, screw star ratings. Well, if you really feel like screw star ratings, we wouldn't talk about Maason Smith. You just be like, okay, whatever. He's just kind of like just a guy, just a lineman, right? But because he has that 5-star attached to it from high school, he's always going to have this spotlight on him, and so I can empathize with what it must feel like to be a young man who is trying to do everything they can to live up to that billing, but just for whatever reason, it's not working. And I have theories, right? Because he was a better player freshman year than he is now. But I think, look, he was a superstar his whole life. Then he catches a major injury for the first time in his life. You never know how a guy's going to respond to that. And where it gets doubly bad for Smith is that he had the injury, and then it comes at a time when the coaching's just not there for him.
Yeah.
So at a time when he needed the best coaching that he could possibly get, and he needed it worse than he ever had it, he didn't just get the best coaching, he got no coaching. And so you have just seen a stunted development at this point, and it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch because he has all the raw physical potential, but right now he's just playing high. It's too sticky. He's not getting off blocks. It's a bit disappointing to see for sure.
Yeah, and I thought Jefferson next to him actually had a pretty decent night.
A lot of penetration, dude. Playing with leverage. Like, not always making the play, but at least like making his presence felt. Even Guillory did better.
And so that kind of makes it stick out a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit more. And he is a player that we have seen better from. He's a player that, like T-Bob said, there's been some things that probably weren't fair to him, like not having a defensive line coach, because you have a situation before the season that nobody planned on with the health of your defensive line coach. But, I mean, this is somebody that still has a lot of talent. I think he's somebody that if he comes back and works on it, he can be a really, really good player. But he's got to do the work. He's got to put in the work. And, having a full offseason of being fully healthy, all of those things, right? He still can, I think, be a player that helps you win football games. But right now, there's some things that are a little bit of red flags when you come to defensive line play.
Yeah. And
things that you can't do, and you certainly can't do here at this level. So, defensive line is going to be one of those groups that I feel like has wholesale changes here coming up in the offseason.
Yeah, even though it was interesting. So, again, LSUodyssey.com, Lon Phillips Sullivan breaking it that Jimmy Lindsey was back in the stadium.
Yeah.
And not to say that has, I'm not saying like, oh my, he's back and now the D-line's going to play great. I mean great for Coach Lindsey.
It's
awesome to hear that he is healthy enough to be back in there and start to work with those guys once again. So, Jake, you talked about some defensive performances you were impressed with, or, you thought, okay, like, so who kind of stood out to you in that regard?
Swinson, I thought, had another nice game off the edge.
The most consistent edge pass rusher all year long.
I think so, and he graded out, pass rush 91.
Oh, wow.
And it felt like the tape was close to that. Maybe even that might even be a little bit better than I thought it was. But I thought he had a nice night. I thought Jefferson had a nice night. I thought Sage Ryan in coverage. Now, run fits, there was a couple of plays I thought Sage struggled a little bit. But as far as coverage, I thought Sage Ryan might have had his best game at corner.
Yeah, well, and the 4th and 3 pass breakup was huge.
Yeah.
A play that was caught, but not giving up with the play, keep fighting, and then he punches that ball out perfectly to turn it over and essentially end, any hope that the Florida Gators may have had remaining, and set up the cover for all you gamblers. Shout out the defense. A couple big stops at the end, not just doing it for pride, but doing it for the homies as well, who backed LSU with their money.
Toviano played, for a freshman.
I like
you
Toviano's-
can see it.
Yeah, yes.
You can see that what we heard it and what the recruiting, analysts saw in his game. Like, it is not far from being from everything we heard that he could be. And I like he's got a little something to him.
Mm-hmm.
A little 7:30. I'll save that.
Yeah, a little.
What
urine
vinegar?
and vinegar.
Yeah, there you go. Well, urine and vinegar.
But yeah, he. God, that sounds awful. But I agree. I like it. He ain't afraid to put his head in there.
Right.
I like his run fits. I like his physicality. He plays confidently. I think Javian Toviano is going to be a great player for you eventually.
And I think one of the things about the defense, T, is like I really thought Omar Spates had really good run fits, but then he struggled in coverage. And we go back to a couple guys. It's like, well, I thought Sage was really good in coverage, maybe struggled in some of his run fits. And that's where you kind of have a disconnect.
Yeah.
You have good players that can make plays, but just not putting it all together. Like, they're good in this phase, not in that phase. And so that's why you have been struggling on defense. One reason. There's multiple reasons, but it's just trying to put a full game plan together where you do both of your jobs, not just one of your jobs. Because, again, Spates was really good, 79% in run fits. He was 49 in coverage. Sage Ryan, let's see, he was 74% in coverage, 54 in run fits.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just trying to marry those two things together, and you would have much better performances.
Wait, there's a good. Sal Trapani says Parashan makes plays, but I don't hear him getting mentioned. Parashan had a couple nice moments. I think he had a nice pass breakup. I really liked one play where Graham Mertz tried to get outside of him, and Shan got on his high horse and chased him down. I don't know if he got a sack credit for it, but it was a 1-yard loss. Paris has been fine. He's been good. He flashed a couple times, for sure. Braden Swinton's still your most consistent guy off the edge, too, though.
He was the highest graded player on defense, and it wasn't really even close. Swinton and he played 46 plays, so he played more than enough.
So, look, here's the deal on the defense. There were some good moments. Getting the stop, first possession of the second half was huge. That was needed. You set your offense up when it was 7-7 with the turnover. That was great, even though the offense didn't take advantage. Coming up with the stops late, I thought were more than just pride. I think it was, well, first off, it was needed to set you up to win the game, and then I did like keeping them out the end zone as well. But it's still a defense that just, it just feels like a defense to me that just has the yips in a weird way. And then they played better this game, sure, but I mean, we're like every play just open receivers.
Yeah, you had
just
two
all
players,
over the field, dude.
In your entire defense, you had two players with a passing coverage grade.
And again, it's
passing
coverage. Like 7. What do you call them? Passing 70 or up?
Above 70. Yeah, you had two players, Major Burns and Sage Ryan.
So it's still got to get better. There's still no excuse for defense featuring Harold Perkins to not impact the game more. And he made some plays. He almost came up with a pick, dangerously close to a really good pick in coverage as well. But it's got to get better. And this you could still see it. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.